of medicines distributed by the Dutch-based international dispensary is from India. This is just an example how we are supporting the US, which is the most powerful democracy in the world. Now imagine this. Over 40% of generics prescribed are from India. India's generic drug producers have managed to drastically lower prices of a range of therapeutics and saved millions of lives and millions of dollars also for US. 1 out of 5 US FDA inspections are approvals from India. 80% of all retail prescriptions filled in the US are for generics. And a 2013 report on generic drug saving in the US shows generics saved the US health system a staggering 1.3 trillion US in the last 10 to 12 years. So this is the credit that India has and India's generics has. Very critical to President Obama's affordable healthcare program. So if they don't depend on India, his healthcare program, the Obamacare program, will not be a success. To overcome the shortage of cancer drugs of J&J, you would have all heard this a couple of months ago, they had to depend on Lipodox drug from India. So you can imagine the dependence on India. These are the challenges that we are facing. We've already discussed this. India can aim for almost 10% of the market that's growing. Biosimilars is no doubt an expensive and time-consuming, but it is the order of the day. The key enablers that we require now. To achieve global leadership in pharma, we need the following enablers. As a science-based industry, innovation forms core of its growth strategy. So we need to innovate now. We need to have our own molecules. Zydus Cadila has already succeeded. They have some more in pipeline, but we have a lot of companies now coming up. Sun Pharma is coming up. We've got Wokhard coming up. We've got Glenmark coming up. Sorry. A lot of companies are going to come up. An ecosystem for innovation is required. Predictable and sustainable pricing policy. That is very important for the country. Government should understand that we have such a huge competition in the country that prices are going to be taken care of. Competition is going to take care of the prices. If there is a monopolistic situation, government must intervene. Otherwise, there should be only price monitoring and not price control. Regulatory framework should be harmonized with global practices. Strong political will to repeal outdated laws. You've seen the quotation here of Narendra Modi outside. That's wonderful. We have to change our laws as times change. We have to be adaptable to new procedures. We have to change our labor laws, the land acquisition laws, the drugs and cosmetics law, which is age-old, the SPE Act, the Sales Promotion Employees Act. All this has to change. Ease and speed of getting licenses for manufacturing. As we said earlier, preferably it should be single window system so that people don't get frustrated and get on with the business. We need to have a consistency in our special economic zones, quick passage of GST, the GST which is coming up, the goods and services tax. That has to be passed. It's being held up for various political reasons, but genuinely it is going to be a very good thing for the industry to grow and for the government. Increase in government healthcare budget. We are just about 1 to 2%, we should go up by almost another 4 to 5%. Expansion of health insurance. Today, almost 80% of our population spends from its own pocket. And whoever is insured also pays almost 30 to 40% for medicines from that insurance policies that they have. So this has to change. Commence massive reversal of brain drain. If you see China today, why they are doing well, they are luring their own Chinese people who are outside, the reverse brain drain, who are in the US, who are elsewhere, to come back and do business in China. We should do that. We must target people, give them the incentives, give them the facilities, give them the encouragement to come back. Increase in government healthcare budget, expansion of the health insurance. All this is supposed to be supporting us to make in India a reality. Insurance reforms, we don't need to go in total detail. There'll be other speakers who will talk about it, but massive reforms are required in insurance business. The Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana is already there, but we need to improve upon it. We need to upgrade the 13 existing government medical college institutions which are there, because today the ratio of the private hospitals and government and the BMC or whatever else, the municipal corporations, very few beds are available. So we need to do that. We need to make it compulsory now for the government to ensure healthcare, because as some years ago they said, Swaraj is my birthright. It's high time we say that healthcare is my birthright. Now, what are the issues? All projects, proposals to be considered on a long-term basis. Why pharma industry is suffering today and not doing well, more better than what we are doing, is because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. The policies are not very consistent. Government has to come out with a policy with a guarantee that, okay, for the next 10 years, come what may, we are not going to have any change in the policy. That is not happening. Understanding between the center and the state. These are sometimes the pangs of the federal form of government. The state has no allegiance to the center. So if they work in harmony, then things can go better for the pharma industry. We need proper land allocation, long lease, subsidized rates. Land cost has to be subsidized by the center to the state government. We need to train bank officials to appreciate pharma industry requirements and functioning, because we need quick approvals. Banks should provide soft loans for infrastructure at 6%. If you see the interest rates outside India, 4%, 5%, and see the phenomenal rates we have here, 10 and 12%. So how can they invest money? The new popular government, a lot of things are being spoken about it. The new India government is keen to improve healthcare facilities and the health of the people. It's considering identifying 50 drugs for various diseases and provide free medicines to all. 50 drugs have been identified. IDMA has also put a step forward on this, that, okay, we'll tell our companies to supply you at cost. But beyond that, leave us alone. Don't have that shackles of price control. And IDMA can act as a vital link, if you can see this type of a C-link that we have. So that type of a link we can provide. The future is very promising. On 29th, that is the next week, the government is going to discuss in detail about this Make in India. So we'll all get to interact with various pharmaceutical and health care people, as well as officials from the ministries. And at the end of the day, the Prime Minister is going to be given a presentation by various secretaries of the departments. It's going to be very interesting. Once we get to know about the outcome of that, we'll certainly share it with all of you. Pharmaceutical has been identified as a key sector under this program. So challenges are many and will need to be tackled with government initiative and support to reach out quality, affordable medicines to all without hindrance by enhancing medicines, by enhancing healthcare expenditure and infrastructure, setting up a lifeline sector funding. There should be a separate fund for lifeline sector of almost 12,000 crores, whereby we can support intermediates, APIs, and formulation industry. Establish pharma growth clusters so that we can have common effluent treatment plant, common R&D, common quality control. Individually, it's going to be very difficult to fund such projects. Logistical support for encouraging rural penetration. Upgrading the infrastructure. Shifting the focus from market capture to market creation. We are just trying to piggy bank on whatever market exists, but we are not innovating different ways to go for different products that we can get support from. So we need to create a market, have new products for which we can take the share of the pie. And encourage greater industry, trade, academia coordination. We have people from the academia here. So that's what China is doing. That's what US is doing. So why not take advantage of the academia, of the students, of the professors? And that's how we fund the innovation and come up with new products. Reduce the dependency of our APIs on China. Today, India is totally dependent on China. Imagine if China stops giving us APIs, the entire formulation industry can come to a standstill. We can't run to other countries to develop the APIs that we are manufacturing today, we are using. So we have to have our own APIs. IDMA has given a lot of suggestions to the government. We need to develop our public sector units to manufacture APIs in a very competitive price and then supply it to our formulators. We need interest rates to be reduced. We need infrastructure, proper roads, storage facilities. Roads, ports, railways, all needs to be improved. Government has already initiated new smart cities, so that will happen. The new corridors are being come up for connectivity. NIPERs are to be developed as training centers for SMEs. Today we just have 3 or 4 NIPERs. It should be at least a dozen NIPERs in various cities. Training programs need to be conducted as also mock drills. Our companies are not geared up to face sudden audits from US or from other foreign auditors. So we need to gear up. It has to be a continuous process, a top-down approach. The CMD and the quality control chemist all have to be talking the same language and give the same importance to quality control. Pharmacy colleges in India should be churned out so that we have more number of pharmacy graduates. We should have ready-made children coming up and taking up the positions. They have got some curriculum which is outdated. They have curriculum which doesn't match what the industry need is today. So that is very important. Regulatory requirements in pharma and biotech industries are missing today in the syllabus, and industry is responsible for that. We need to work closely with pharma colleges. The Life Sciences Sector Development Council has come up. IDMA is working very closely. They provide pharma industry with a sustained stream of skilled individuals across function and levels, thereby vastly reducing costs associated with reskilling. So you can imagine if we get ready-made people, we don't spend so much time and money and they get down straight to business. So training facilities should be accessible across the country. We need train-the-trainer schemes. We only have trainers, but we need to develop more trainers, and for that, special skills are required. Government to provide funds and incentives to encourage organizations to welcome training and trained candidates. This will help the SMEs. Government can also consider providing infrastructure support by using venues like schools after their working hours to be used as training centers. So in conclusion, we estimate that with the next few years, the Indian pharma industry with government support will capture significant market share of production globally, create world-class manufacturing facility globally, raise the level of employment for the times and from the present level, ensure that the poorest continue to have access to affordable quality medicines, improve India's global ranking from 3rd in volume and 14th in value to 2nd in volume and 8th in value, of course with government support. Create for India a strong global brand image as safe, efficacious medicine supplier. Our image should be improved. Of course, you will all agree that one Ranbaxy issue or one Wockhardt issue is not going to bring down the entire industry. Today, everybody looks at India for safe medical products. And the time should come where we can proudly say that people of the world should think, if it is pharmaceuticals, it is India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Daara Patel, for your theme address. Actually, you have brought out the extensivity and how exhaustive the healthcare sector and particularly the pharmaceutical industry is. You have shared your vision for Make in India through various reasons to invest in India, the growth drivers for the pharma industry. Besides that, we are sure under your leadership, IDMA or IDMA would certainly take one step ahead like what you have recommended, a FDI policy for brownfield projects. Particularly, it was interesting to know that India is helping the US